What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. So a little bit of a different dynamic today. It'll be myself, Annie, our nutrition coach, and one of our mentality coaches, Loz, on the podcast. No Ben today. You guys can connect the dots on that and what's going on there. So we're diving into the food freedom workshop that the girls are running and giving a bit of an insight into what's involved in that. So it's essentially relinquishing the shackles of bad diet information and poor diet culture over the last 30 to 40 years, even longer, that's pretty much caused most of the problems that people experience with their nutrition, their health, vitality, and their performance. The episode is so important because it goes through the girls' experiences of diet culture itself and how to get on the other side of that. And then obviously we throw in some things to expect from the workshop. There's definitely your, traditional barbells and banter throughout the whole episode. So you're not short of that. And you'll get some information on how to get some tickets to the workshop if you are interested. As always, if you are supporting the mission of this podcast because you're here, hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way to helping us get the message out to other people just like you. Share, comment, give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to see next. And as always, enjoy the episode. So a little bit of a different dynamic on the podcast today. Ben's transformed.
And got a lot cuter.
Fucking absolutely. Yeah. Nice. Tell you what, if this was the view every week, I'd be much happier than what I'd have to stare at. Yeah, I'd like to say it was reciprocated.
Oh, yes, no, of course. Well, to be fair, normally on Fridays it's just me staring at a screen, so it's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah. I was going to take Ben's seat, but then I didn't want anyone to take my seat.
And you didn't want the responsibility?
Nah,
I've got financials that come with that seat.
Loz, you're now running the business. Didn't know if you realised that. It's like you sat in the chair.
It was on my 2024 vision. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast, but yeah.
It's all part of my plan for world domination.
Just got a picture of Ben on my vision board. Coming for you.
Big X on his face and shit. Like,
he thinks it's because I'm inspired by him, but it's just because I'm coming for him.
He cut you off one time like 5 years ago. You're like, this is my master plan.
Yeah, it's some like Red Sparrow shit.
Yeah.
It's a real positive start.
I was like, I don't know what Red Sparrow is.
It's like just, I don't know, a movie.
Okay.
It's like, isn't it? They're like assassins or some shit, like the females. They like infiltrate stuff.
Oh,
isn't it?
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Is she the Hunger Games girl?
Yes.
So they use females as and their their persuasiveness in life and their desirability.
Seductive.
Yeah, and then turn them into like, just elite assassins. So they just infiltrate shit. And they're like, yeah.
I think you have assassin vibes.
So
I think, is that a compliment?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it means you're very capable of
a seductive killer, right?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'm feeling seduced, but also I feel like
I'll
you
put that on my dating profile. How do others describe you? A seductive
sexy
killer.
and murderous.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get so much attention off that one. Fucking oath.
Yeah, there's a certain cohort that would be right into that. I reckon.
Not a cohort I want to deal with.
No. Why not?
So just so you know, I've already introduced you guys on the podcast.
Oh, how did you introduce us?
Well, we do the intro first, and we're going to do that at the end. So everyone knows who you are, so we can just kind of keep going with the banter.
Okay.
So I'll let you know.
All right.
Nice and formal.
What did you say about us? I want to know.
Well, you have to find out at the end. Depends.
We haven't done it yet. He'll do it at the end.
You're going to make up your mind after the podcast.
Look, I was going to say it does actually depend on how this podcast goes and what I say. So
you're like, actually, let's just scratch that whole thing. No introductions. Didn't happen.
And, I promise I'll say nice things.
Good.
Anyway, so the girls are back, and I thought it'd be cool to get a little bit of a recap just on kind of how the breaks went, if you guys took them, how your festive period was and stuff. Maybe what your plans are for the year, what you guys have, kind of set on the horizons, and then we'll go into the workshop because obviously today's about plugging the workshop and getting everybody to understand how awesome it's going to be and how beneficial it could be for them. So maybe we'll start with you, Loz. Like, how's your break? And
I spent most of it in Melbourne.
Of course
and
you
I'm back in Melbourne now. I keep saying I'm doing like FIFO of like Melbourne, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But it was really good. Spent most of it with family down here. Saw a lot of friends as well that I haven't seen like the last couple of Melbourne trips because when I was down here, sometimes I like wouldn't tell people I was coming because like as soon as you tell people, everyone's like, let's catch up.
It's just pressure, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to see them. It's just like I was like coming down for like work stuff. So I actually like had downtime to like kind of see all of those people. But yeah, not a lot apart from that. Like I try to use the time as well to do a lot of like reflection on like, 2023, really try and work out like what I want 2024 to look like. I guess like looking forward to this year, I really want to keep like developing like the coaching stuff that I'm doing. I have a lot of goals for my corporate job as well. I want to move, not states, but just
Don't get excited.
yeah.
Can't run the business. Got to be in
Ben's gone
Victoria.
now.
So, I'll stay in Gold Coast, but I want to really live like in like a beachside apartment.
Nice.
Yeah, like level up a little bit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't know, buy like a new car, all that kind of stuff that's maybe a bit materialistic, but like been working for it, so I'm fucking here for it.
Speaking to me.
Yeah.
Speaking to me.
I also really want to try and like develop a business that doesn't require as much of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I speak to Ben and stuff about like a lot of like ideas. Like I love like thinking about, opportunities and gaps in the market, I guess, that I can see. So that's something that I really want to try and develop probably like mid-year. Something that's just not like my time for money, but that I can still work on. So I'm going to try and do that. Well, actually, no, I'm going to do it. I just try and like, I try and move away from I'm going to try and like, we'll see, blah, 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 like I'm going to do it. So those are kind of like my goals for the year.
It's mad. Love that.
Yeah. Just got to fit it all in.
When are we getting the Mustang? I'm coming to the dealership.
Well, that's going to all like my plan is to try and do it all around like mid-year. I'm going to sell my property. Hope my tenants aren't listening.
Everyone listens
This
to
is your
podcast.
notice.
Like sell my property, cash out, fund a business, buy a car.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oof. Fuck yeah. That's great.
Vision board things.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
What about you?
What about you, Annie?
Oh, we're looking different this year. Different goals. I spent the last few weeks trying to like acclimatize to like having more time, which is weirdly hard to do. Like all of last year I was studying, building the business, which I still am obviously, but like it took up all of my time, and then when I wasn't actually doing it, I was stressing about
Not
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's like I finished my diploma in December and then had like the Christmas break. I technically worked through, but a lot of my clients were just like, fuck off, I just want to eat. Don't talk to me for the next couple of weeks.
I'm not
so
checking
like,
in.
I was like, I'm here if you
nutritionist.
need me, but like I'm not going to.
It's not a time to be
I'll just
talking
leave
about
you guys.
nutrition.
Yeah.
Here if you want me.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't.
If you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like quiet. But now I'm just trying to figure out like how the fuck I'm meant to manage my time having all this spare brain space, like because I'm not stressing about studying, and it's like I'm just looking for the next thing to stress about. Like I'm just like, what can I fill this time with so I have something to stress about? Like I'm just sitting at home like, what do I
Let's take Billy for
do
another
with
walk.
myself? Literally, I'm like, you good? No,
Yeah,
let's go.
it's
Like
lying on the ground like, stop, please.
yeah. So I feel like I have all this time to now like set these goals. And after doing your the next chapter thing as well, it was cool like spending the last few weeks of the year like reflecting, because that is not something I've done with my summer before.
Yeah.
Like life looked very different summertime a few years ago, like
Just
and
blacked
now
out the whole time.
pretty much yeah. So I was like,
Been there.
this has been such a like wholesome kind of transition into the new year. So
Yeah.
like just feeling really like positive about it, but also I'm just like, fuck, what am I going to do? Do I study something else?
No.
Change careers
Oh, please
entirely?
don't.
Like,
Please don't.
Use it for like
No, I won't.
creation.
Don't be one
Yeah.
of those like just notorious.
Married to
Career
uni.
hopper.
Yeah, just
Nah.
they just study for the sake of studying.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
study
I
what
don't
you
reckon I
need
can do it.
to
yeah.
kind of knock your goals off.
Yeah, I just want to fill up my time with like worthwhile things that aren't necessarily all work related either. Like I
yeah,
just want
absolutely.
to, like just lock some things in so that like, and if you start making more money, you just get really good at spending more money.
You can, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've got this time now. I don't want to just get good at wasting time.
Yeah.
Like I want to allot it
Yeah.
to things. Otherwise I know I'll just fuck around. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I think
don't
it's
know.
funny that you talk about like, oh, I've got to find something to stress about.
Break this down for us. Come on.
Where are we going here?
Let's unpack
I'm just gonna leave. You guys
We'll
can
just have
take
our
care
therapy
of,
session
yeah,
now.
I'll come back when he's gone.
Talk to me.
Well, I just mean, like, I think you and I have spoken about even on like calls and stuff before, right? Where it's like, oh, I feel weird when I'm like not stressed. And I feel like, you know, the study and stuff is doing something that is required of you, coming from like an institution or whatever. You have to do this, right?
Yep.
It's like now you have this time where you can use it to actually like create and like bring ideas to life and do it more from a place of like, this is what I want to be doing. And I think hopefully you will find it's not like as stressful.
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about using that word before, as in like, I'm stressed.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're not
yeah.
stressed, you're just busy, but you can do what's in front of you.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest takeaways from the next chapter and the stuff that we'd done is particularly on that word stress. And it was like, I realized like stress is completely a choice and it's made up.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's actually just a belief that you're not capable of the shit that you have in front of you. So it's like, yeah, I guess stress is the wrong word. It's more like, yeah, what am I going to spend my like mental energy on? But yeah.
Yeah, how are you going to find something that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do what you do. I like have an idea and then I commit to it and then I'm like, fuck, like I reached out to
I
like
live in that space.
Yeah. I reached out to a
Redlining.
church and I was like, hey, I'm going to come and do like a meal prep service every Thursday night and we're going to like have people in and stuff. And now I'm like, I'm already tired of thinking about that, but now I have to do it.
That's what happens every time. You have the idea, you put the stuff in place, you think, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered. Then you do the thing, you're like, I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Every time.
Yeah.
But even doing stuff like that, right? It's like, that's not stressful. It's just like now you have the time and capacity to be able to go and do those sorts of things that light you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to reframe it and be like, I get to do all these cool things now, like with this
Absolutely.
knowledge that I've stressed to get.
Yeah. What's on your 2024 vision?
Jesus.
As much as you can say, that's
So
not
many secrets.
It's not NDA.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to like blur this part of the podcast. Got obviously some really big business goals, so it's probably quite orientated around that. But outside of that time, enjoying life is definitely the priority.
Nice.
A couple of holidays on the horizon, overseas trips. Yeah, more cool time spent with my wife and stuff. Just like, you know, spent the last 3-4 years just like fucking picking up the pieces of us being locked down for like 2 and 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we kind of just like bought the house and played catch up with with the business and stuff. And then, we kind of bought the house and just like, fuck, let's just pay this thing off in a fucking economic crisis.
Yeah.
It cost me a fucking fortune. And I
do
bought a
that.
fucking sports car at the same time.
So this is going to be you in 3
It's
years.
an
I was
absolute-
talking to her in the
it's an
car
absolute
about
setup.
how I want the Mustang and stuff. And I was like, I really don't want to finance it just because I'm like, don't pay interest on a depreciating asset. Like, it's just in my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's
Which
like,
I do every week.
Yeah, there's so many people. I'm not, it's like,
Like
whatever works
technically,
for you.
the business owns the car. So
Yeah.
It's like, there's a few benefits to that. But yeah. Which,
I should keep being like, just wait till you sell the house, like pay cash. She's like, be pretty fun. I'm like, stop.
yeah. I gotta say,
But you'd have a really
I drove
fast
here.
car.
I drove here in sports mode. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, we drove here in sports mode, didn't we? In my
Yeah.
Honda CRV.
Watch me be
Nearly
back in
killed
Gold
us.
Coast for
The
2
car-
days and be like, I have a Mustang.
Like, I'm all for it. Like a mate of mine, he's a pretty successful comedian. He's on like breakfast radio and stuff. And like
Yeah.
we catch up every now and then.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm thinking about buying a Mercedes. And I'm like,
Do it.
that is the best decision you're ever going to make. And he's like, oh, my wife's saying this. And he's like, oh, my mate's saying, why don't you just buy a Toyota? I go, tell you why you don't buy a Toyota.
Yeah.
Because you're going to buy a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Solid
It's a
point.
It's like the only person that tells you to buy a Toyota is someone who doesn't have a Mercedes. So I'm like, as someone
Stay
who,
with us.
I'm like, as someone who does,
Yeah.
I think that you should absolutely
It's
get one.
sick. Yeah.
And then just like the more pints that went down, I'm like, so what color is it? Like,
on car sales,
Picture
like,
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
what, so he's
Yeah.
on car. He's like, I'm thinking, oh my god, it's a great car, man. Like, yeah, you should do it.
Yeah.
So you should do it.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do the black one. She shouldn't get a black Mustang, right?
I just love the all black, black rims. Like, I think it looks sick.
You can do whatever you like.
Thanks, Jace.
Yeah, but what about yellow? Does
Oh
anyone
my
do
God,
yellow? I'm
absolutely
picturing
not.
like
Probably not on a Mustang.
I'm not driving
what's her
Bumblebee
name?
from
Oh no, you got to do
Transformers.
It's like
that's the Lambo thing, isn't
It's
it?
like
Yellow.
supercar. Yeah, yellow's got to. It's supercar shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Nah, not for me.
I
Not yet. I'll get
think
a
that
yellow one.
I'm putting you in my mind. You're the chick from Kill Bill in the yellow.
Why am I an
Yeah,
assassin?
seductive
again?
assassin.
True. Yeah.
Just knows like how to use samurai swords.
Just like, I'm
I
getting
didn't know that this
Mustang
is what I
and
thought of you.
I
nunchucks.
love it.
Now
Love
I
it.
know that this is what I think.
I don't know if I
didn't
like
know
that this is
until
my
today.
vibe, but I
love
mean,
that.
That's
I love
fine.
that. All right, quick break in the episode, guys. Just wanted to talk about coaching. So we at STCfit are committed to taking your body composition, training, performance, your health and well-being all to the next level. Our experienced team of coaches are ready to help you get the most out of yourself. You don't just have to be a powerlifter or a bodybuilder or an athlete. You just need to be somebody who knows that you have a lot of potential and want to reach it. And you can join the team by heading to the website, submitting a coaching inquiry form, and one of our coaches will get in touch with you. All right, let's get back to the episode. So you guys have referenced the workshop that you guys did in December a couple of times now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we actually recapped that because you guys weren't here. So maybe just like, Loz, maybe yourself as like a recap of like doing the event, and then even Annie yourself, like because you participated, like some of the take homes and stuff from that.
Yeah, for sure. So we ran, it was called Design Your Life Blueprint. And the whole premise of it was how we talk about life by design. Having choice in like what happens to you is really, I guess, like what was inspiring it for me, because I see so many people almost just feel like they're kind of on the ride of life, and like that's just like, this is just happening and I don't have a say, and like then that leads to grasping for control in like other areas. So the way that it ran, like we did it with Amy and also Jess. So we did like 3 sessions. The first one was with me, which was more like a presentation workshop. We created like an activity booklet and stuff as well. We had breaks and stuff for them to fill in like their own sorts of activities. Then we did a training session with Jess, and then we did a group hypnotherapy with Amy. All kind of like with the same theme of like, you are capable, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that was the message that they brought into the group hypno and also in the training session. I think that's also something that's on my 2024 like vision is more events. Because like I would do them for free. I'm not going to, but no, but like,
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
But bringing people together is like it fires me up. Like,
yeah, the vibe's awesome.
Yeah. Because speaking with people one-on-one as well, like I think we spoke about it on the last podcast, like that kind of like lonely chapter. And I see so many people who kind of want to take that next step, but yeah, their circle's like not supportive of it. And I just was like, I think I said to Ben before we'd even brought any of the event together, I was like, I just want to put them in the same room.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what I want to do here. I just want to bring him and then show them all, be like, hey, there's other people like you. Like so many people have never had anybody cheer for them.
Yeah.
Like ever. And I was like, let's, do a workout and have them be motivated by other people and have them feel that like, hey, I actually want you to be successful. Because I just know that so many people have never felt that before. And it only takes to feel it once to know that it's like out there. Yeah. But until they feel it, I can tell as many people as I like that it's possible. And it's like telling them about a fantasy.
Yeah, especially when you're maybe put in that regard of like too far away from where they are.
Yeah.
You need, we've even seen it like with the stuff that we do, like someone can be like, oh, I'm struggling with my business, or this client's got this problem, and we're like, oh, so we would do all of this stuff, and they're just like, yeah, but you're perfect. Like you're the fucking the one always telling us. Where if someone else like, just a little bit further down the road, not too far, is like, oh, this is what, or I did this and it worked, or this is what I would do. They receive that information, not better, but sometimes just easily, it's easier transmissible or something.
Feels more like realistic.
Yeah, they're like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Where if they say to you, it's like, oh no, but you're
different.
You're too far down for to take that on. I'm not like you.
Yeah.
Yet,
Yeah, correct. Which is I was actually speaking to Ben about this the end of December, and trying to somehow articulate, because I don't feel that far away from other people. But I think sometimes it might feel like that for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is so strange to me.
Oh yeah. Of course it would. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as soon as you take charge in an environment and it's something that you're passionate about and you have expertise in, that gap just instantly gets created. Yeah. Especially thinking about people who are like struggling with whatever it is that you're the leader on. They're going to be like, oh, like this person's amazing.
Yeah. Which is how, like, I always try and be as honest as possible as to like, the struggles that I did go through and still go through. Like, it's not like I reached a point and was like, I'm healed.
Yeah, I don't feel like...
Did it.
I never make dumb decisions. I never,
I once felt like you.
Yeah.
I speak just
a long,
like you.
long time ago. I'm like, no, it was like 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Just wasn't that long ago. But yeah, I think it is super powerful to put them in rooms where even if someone's not even ahead of them, it's just, hey, that thing that you're struggling with, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more isolating than people convincing themselves that their struggles are unique.
Yeah, yeah. Even coaching wise, like you don't want to sit there and say that everyone experiences what the person experiences, because it kind of does dumb it down, so it's not important.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to sit there and make them feel like they're the only person who felt that way. So it's like that fine line where you're like, yeah, I've had a few people who feel like this.
Yeah.
I know coming back from...
you still need to validate it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, look, you have every right to feel this way, but you're not alone. It's kind of like, and it makes them feel a bit better. Like the last 2 weeks, obviously, like, schedules been out, people have been eating different food, like their guts are fucked, their energy levels are shit. They're like, oh, it just feels so hard this week. And I'm like, this has been the theme of the week for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this has happened for you, which is important.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're not alone. And it's like, they kind of receive it like, oh, cool. So it's not just me and only me and always me. And, but it's like getting that line real fine. Because I know, like, even just for myself, when we went through all the lockdowns and stuff, like everyone was like, oh, everyone's feeling that way. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was about to open a business.
It doesn't help, yeah.
Like, I'm now working in a fucking garage if I'm lucky. I'm like, I don't want to hear that everyone else is doing the same thing and it should be okay. I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Because it still feels really hard for you.
It's
so
like,
you're like, well, that doesn't make it any fucking
it fucking
easier.
sucks for me.
Everyone else is having shit
it's
time.
like, is it like toxic positivity?
Toxic positivity, yeah.
It was like that was just getting thrown around, just left, right, and center. I'm just like,
it's like, no,
your boy's not having
shit.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, just validate
All
my
negativity,
intricate
please.
feelings, and then I get it. Everyone
me.
else is shit. Everyone else's situation is shit too.
Yeah.
It's a tough space to work in.
Because you can have perspective whilst also acknowledging your own feelings. Because some people go so far the other way where it's like, oh, like, other people have it worse. It's like other people are always going to have it worse, and you can definitely like use that to check yourself a little bit.
100%.
But don't use it so much where you never feel like you have a right to say that you're upset.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel that myself.
I feel like, it's that whole, other people have it worse kind of thing. It's been used as like a make yourself feel better about your situation.
It's trying to be the glass half full person.
Yeah, but it's like it doesn't actually
neglects.
change your situation. But I reckon it's like that is helpful to like humanize what other people are going through and be like, we're all going through shitty things that all are hard, but it doesn't fucking change how hard your thing is.
And how you feel about it.
Yeah, like if you have a prickle in your shoe, you're having the shittest day ever. Like someone else is dying potentially.
Has to walk 5 kilometers to get water. It's like, okay,
exactly.
I get it.
But it doesn't actually make your situation any different.
Yeah, people using like storming the beaches of Normandy as like a comparison
like
to
a
like what we were doing in lockdown. It's like, oh, you're sitting at home just playing video games. Like people, went to war. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like not saying that was the right, a great time for them.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, man. Like, why do we have to compare like that?
Yeah. It doesn't work. There is no comparison.
Nah.
Because an experience is an experience. It's like it doesn't really, and one person will be more greatly affected by a certain experience as opposed to another one. It's like whatever the intensity of the feeling that you're feeling is really like the thing that matters. It's not what caused it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So-
It's just your response to whatever's going on. It's like you're having just as shit of a time.
Yeah. It's like, someone who might get, I don't know, broken up with or whatever. It's like one person might fall into a fucking puddle because they've had all of this shit happen in the past. Like another person might be like, it probably just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same situation, but like that first person's intensity of what they're feeling like is not invalidated just because someone else
else just shook it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like everyone's going to feel things differently because they attribute meaning to different things.
Yep, absolutely.
Like if a person's business fails, it's like one person internalizes that as I'm a failure. The other person's like, oh, it's okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, start another one or whatever.
Yeah. And it's like, you can try and work on, like what that internal messaging is, but it's still like that's kind of how you feel it and it's still valid.
Yeah.
So talking about experiences, you were
a participant.
Yeah, you were a participant at the workshop. How would you describe the day?
It was fucking awesome. It was so good. Like, I think probably a couple of days after is when I messaged you and I was like, please, let's do it. Like, let's collab and do
Yeah.
a
Love
nutrition mindset thing
Yeah, I
together.
think it was like 3 days after.
Yeah. I was like, all right. But yeah, so like firstly, from what we were saying before, having like that kind of shared experience with other people, like understanding that other people are going through the same or going through something similar to you. I think one of the first activities that we were doing in the workbooks and we were writing stuff down, and I actually can't remember what it was. Sorry. It was really
God,
important.
Annie, I probably
just
can't
don't
remember what it is
It's
either.
amazing. I can't remember.
It was life changing, but I have no idea what
Yeah.
it was. But yeah, it was something about like, a difficult experience or maybe a negative thought that you had about yourself or
Yeah.
something like that. And then we had to kind of pair up and like swap advice and be
Yeah.
like, what would you tell yourself or what would you tell this
friend.
person? Yeah, what would you tell a friend kind of thing? And a lot of us had like the exact same advice, and it was just like, you're not that shit. You've already done heaps of stuff that you should be proud of. You're a lot more capable than you think you are, like that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh, everyone feels that same thing, like that same kind of, not like I'm not good enough, but a variation of that,
Yeah.
like
Oh, absolutely.
life is hard. You never feel up to scratch kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you're
But
not
it
where you
was
should
like,
be.
Yeah.
You should be
Yeah.
better than this.
I guess like that
Yeah.
imposter syndrome thing. And I think there's like a lot of positives to imposter syndrome though. Like I think it pushes you in the right. It's like you just want to learn more. You're curious.
There's I think if you disregard all of it entirely, like
You're
it
narcissistic
presents.
and crazy.
Yeah, well, it presents its own problems, especially
Yeah.
when you're working with people and they're
Yeah.
trusting you. You
Yeah,
know, you're
for
like, oh, I know
sure.
everything. I don't have to. I don't
Yeah.
have to get better. I think I know everything. It's like, ooh, it's a tough place to live in, but
Yeah.
it's got to be a healthy amount.
A healthy
It's
amount,
not,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it questions yourself.
Not so much that it holds you back, but
Yeah.
but yeah, because I think some of the girls were also like PTs or in
Mm.
that kind of space, and so yeah, it was a very like shared like, oh fuck, everyone does feel like that. So that was kind of nice.
So is
And
it
then-
like, was the premise of it like speak to yourself like your best friend would? Is that
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. Like what?
Yeah.
Like you write it down. You write the shit thing that you feel about yourself, and then it's like, all right, if your best friend came to you and said this about themselves,
Yeah,
what would you tell them?
yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like
Yeah, I literally have that
God.
written in my phone.
Yeah.
My notes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard to remind yourself of that. You got to check yourself sometimes. Be
Yeah.
like, how would you say this to somebody else?
Yeah.
We just treat ourselves with like different rules.
Yeah.
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 Actually,
So
had to
much
like
harsher.
verbalize, like say it to the other person as well, like actually give the advice. Because I think sometimes we hear that message of like, what would you tell a friend? It's like, yeah, I know, I'd be nice to them, blah, blah. But to actually have to like have someone in front of you and
Yeah.
like give them the advice.
It was yeah
Yeah.
the right amount of confronting.
Yeah.
Enough to grow,
Excellent.
but not too much. Like
Not so everybody hates me being like,
yeah,
"Ugh."
yeah,
Yeah.
No, it was really good. And then so that was like workbooky stuff and
Yeah.
and then Jess's workout was fucked. I think that was the first time I'd done split squats.
Oh, really? Cool.
And I just like grabbed like the 15 kilo kettlebells, just thinking, I mean, not kettlebells, fucking thingos.
Dumbbells.
And I was like, I'll be right. And then I just like ripped my legs apart for like 2 weeks. Like they were shredded. I was like, whatever. Like, cause there was someone next to me and she had 15 kilos. I was like, well, fuck, let's go. Like I can't, so we're pushing each other in the right ways. And then Amy's thing was incredible as well. That was super weird. Very cool.
Yeah.
Have you done a
Do I look
session
like?
with
I have. I'm sorry.
What are you afraid
Jace
of? Let's
has-
talk about it.
Weekly
I don't need-
hypnotherapy.
You can say what you want to get me to do it. It's been 8 years. No, no,
You're
I'm kidding.
afraid.
Absolutely not. It's just never presented itself. I'm not saying I'm not
okay.
against it. So
No, it was cool.
yeah.
But yeah, all three like elements together as well just felt really cool, and to be able to do it with all the other gals was cool. And then yeah, I was like, I think a part of me had been kind of skeptical about online mentality coaches.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
and I
on.
was so sold after.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your skepticism beforehand?
I think it was more just like, what is it?
Mm.
Is it psychology? Is it like
That's that logic
close?
brain of yours
Yeah.
coming out.
yeah, like I need to break this down. What is it kind of thing, And then I was like, okay, I get it now. And I definitely want that for all of my clients. So let's work together kind of thing. Like I trusted you, but I just like there was just a
trusted
little
you.
bit of skepticism,
I
about
get
the
it.
entire thing.
I
Because
understand.
a lot of people out
But it'd
there
be no
are just
different
like, I'm
to the person who like took their car to the mechanic and then they fucked it up and they're like, mechanics are shit. It's
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
or like a personal trainer. Like I know people
Yeah.
like personal trainers are shit.
yeah,
And it's like there's just unfortunately in every industry, a small minority of people who take an expertise in an area and just start to fucking create the Wild West with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's my preconceived idea of it too. I'm like, every experience I've had with someone in your space, I'm like, I would never take advice off them. Or like, sorry, there's two people, you and Amy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the rest of them, like, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
They don't live a life like that they say other people to do.
Yeah.
They don't show it. They just say it. That's a big red flag for me in everything. And then I'm like, what fucking life experience do you have? It's like some of these people are like in their early 20s. I'm like, fuck you tell me about life experience and tell me how to live my life. Still live home with your parents and shit. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you don't know about hardship and shit and how to deal with it. Like, so yeah, I feel that. So much.
And it was really cool to just kind of be able to like actually go through the process and be like, this is fucking sick. And I think that the difference, I think my misunderstanding of it came from like, is this like traditional therapy? Is it, you know, is it psychotherapy? Is it psychology? Like that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly, right?
No. It's a scope here,
like,
guys.
It's kind of like the gap though, because I think, you know, like psychologists and stuff, you sit and you talk about your fucking childhood and whatever and you break down all that shit and then you just go back to your normal life. Yeah. You're like, now what? Now I just feel fucking
where's the integration
exposed,
back?
Right? Like, so then the actual coaching through it isn't so much like, all right, you need to break down every little thing that's ever happened to you, but it's just kind of like, what shit are you doing right now that isn't good for you and like, how are you going to change that? So I was able to realize that it's actually so much more helpful because it is that integration into your day-to-day life to actually get somewhere with it.
Yeah, I think your questions are valid because I do get that question a lot, like, what do you do?
Yeah, right.
And honestly, sometimes I do find it a bit hard to articulate because every client that I work with can be quite different. And something that I really enjoy and feel passionate about the way that I do things is it because it is so different and I can use quite a number of skills. And sometimes I was thinking about this the other day, a client will come to me for one thing and then we'll move and do other stuff as well, because I know that it all kind of like works together. So it's like, it might be a food restriction client. And then I'm like, well, I know that anyone moving away from restriction, you know, benefits from training, like, so we can set some performance goals and stuff like that. So I write them a program. And then it's like, I'm giving them like journaling prompts, but we're trying to understand as well, like through the calls, you know, like, why are you so attached to restriction? And, you know, we get into, it's from like past relationships and stuff and all of that kind of thing. You know, I had one girl come to me who was really just trying to like get back on top of healthy habits and like kick drinking a little bit. And now we're talking about like budgeting and like finance stuff and like more fitness based stuff, but then also helping her with her partner. And like, I like doing it all because I know that's where the magic happens. Because if you just fix like the one kind of area, it's like, sure, if someone comes to you with an injury, it's like, well, let's fix that first. But then the part that I really like doing is bringing them from like good to great. Like once we've done that, it's like, cool. Now you've got that sense of capability of like, I had this thing, I've overcome it to a degree. You know, like I see it with every client. They have this moment where they go like, what else could I do?
Yeah.
Like the restriction client I'm thinking about, we had a call this week and she'd been working with me for 4 months and she goes, I think I want to run 5K. And I was like, sick, let's do that. And this was like it was the moment where she went, oh, I could do other things
like
too.
I believe that I can do other things.
Focusing on that one thing now and break through to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and she was like,
huge.
It was huge.
That's
I was
liberating
smiling like the whole call because you
awesome.
see it. Every client, sometimes it takes, you know, longer than others, but
absolutely.
they just start believing that they can do things.
Yep.
And I think that is probably like in the one sentence, like just what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Just trying to make people feel like they can do shit.
Yeah.
And understand themselves a bit better. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
Getting passionate.
Going.
Yeah. Like most people like end in these cycles and they don't know why.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're trying to firstly work that out together. I'm not like, you're doing this because of this, 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 and this. I'm like, I don't fucking know why you're doing it. But like, let's try and figure it out.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like once you can kind of get them there as well, you know, they realize that they're not counting every calorie because they're dying to be skinny. They're kind of counting every calorie because like some person in their past made them feel like shit and they're you know what I mean? It's,
yeah.
And they're like, oh, I'm not just crazy.
Yeah. And that's like why I'm so excited to have like an element of that like for my food clients and stuff. Because it's like you can fucking write someone a meal plan, but like that's just not even scratching the surface of like helping someone's food habits and behaviors.
Yeah,
and
it's like
stuff.
how many people actually just need that?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like,
not it's
outside
like,
of an athlete,
yeah, right. Like
no one just needs the meal
no
plan,
one just
right?
needs the meal plan. And like when you're doing your check-ins and stuff, you're not saying like, okay, how many grams of protein did you eat today? It's like, how was the weekend and like how tired are you and how stressed
Yeah.
are you and why did that fuck everything else for you for the week? And,
Yeah.
and now you're feeling like shit about yourself, so you've fallen off the wagon or whatever, like for the rest of the week. And so
Yeah.
it's like everything you do just comes down to like the mentality of why you do it.
Yeah.
So it's like they suddenly believe that, okay, if I can do this one thing, then oh my God, I can achieve this other thing that I was holding myself back from based on the same fear and all that kind of stuff. So it's like I think they go so hand in hand.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't even make sense to do nutrition without some form of mentality. And at least now I can be like, that's on you.
It's the best part about, like what we're doing at STC. It was the biggest thing that I was excited for is like, I don't want to do everything on my own.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, and I can, when I talk to my parents and stuff about what we're doing, because they don't quite understand.
That's all
No
right.
one really does.
Been doing this 20 years. My mum doesn't know what the fuck I
Dad's
do.
like, so who are they? Like,
Yeah.
what do they do? That's all right.
Everything.
Yeah.
What don't you do?
That's right.
But I'm like, what we can create together is bigger than like the sum of its parts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
totally.
And that's what I'm really, really excited about. Because,
Yeah.
I'm like, I understand the nutrition stuff not as well as you, but like it doesn't light me up like the other stuff.
Yep.
But I also know that, say for a nutrition client, sometimes they need a like, okay, I get why I'm doing this, blah, 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 but can I also understand what to do? I'm
Yeah, like can I please
cool.
have a plan as well?
I ate cereal for dinner last night, so like I'm going to give you to Annie. Like,
I also had cereal.
Can you write me a meal plan that tastes good?
oh my
No.
God, yeah.
So
So times
have
guys
boiled
are like,
chicken.
can I have a meal plan? I'm like, I don't think you want to see what I eat.
yeah. I say that all the time. Like, look, I eat like a 5-year-old.
Yes,
Yeah,
seriously.
PTs eat like kangaroo mints.
Oh,
we eat
kangaroo's
like,
good.
We eat like bodybuilders. It's like
Yeah.
as a reflection of like what people think, like health and fitness should be.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest, leanest people are looked at as the best regard for health. So then
Yeah.
they go, oh, what do they eat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like frequent meals, protein, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and it's
Yeah.
like, fuck, man, the general population just want to drop 10 kilos, like,
Yeah.
and just feel and look,
Yeah.
feel and look a little bit better.
Yeah. They
They don't need to
they
eat
ain't
like
it.
that, and I'm like, well,
They're going
that's
to try
all.
for a week and then.
Yeah, I have 20 years of that, so I can't give
Yeah.
you a nice tasting meal.
No.
with shit that's
My
easy to make.
housemates
And,
make fun
salt
of
on
me
it.
because
Yeah.
like every night I'll like pull out my veggies and just like some sort of meat and they're like, oh, something different.
It's called-
Like, like,
we call it food construction. So it's
Yeah.
rice, some form of meat, and some form of plant and veg.
Yeah. No
and,
love in
and
that.
sauce.
There's never like, sometimes when you make stuff, it's like stuff's blended together.
I know, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, no, it's like
That's
they.
called a sauce.
Yeah. So I'm like, no,
I'm
there's
with
no
you.
fucking way.
Yeah.
That's like, I just can't be fucked. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, I just eat sometimes you just eat because you have to. Like,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's because I think the way I think.
Yeah. I started getting a meal subscription because I just
Yeah.
couldn't be fucked.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this tastes
Yeah.
nice. And it's like,
Yeah.
I got like a sauce, red wine jus or something. I'm like, oh.
Ooh,
well, this-
fancy.
Yeah, like, ooh, this makes the meat
For
moist.
me.
It's like, this doesn't taste like burnt rubber. All right,
Yeah, I
so
like sauces.
perfect segue. This has been like a slam dunk this episode because everything's just leading into the next thing.
Who needs Ben?
So absolutely,
Get rid of
just
him.
so cut then until I need you.
I hope he's watching.
It's just the episode. It's entirely for the podcast. Everything else, I need you.
Don't piss him off
Oh,
too
right.
much.
So you guys are working together on a workshop,
Yes.
and by the sound of it, the inspiration, you approached Loz about it, or did you guys say we have to work together and then we just like threw out ideas?
Yeah, I don't even, did I? Yeah, I think I approached you,
Yeah.
but I can't remember if it was before or after the STC day with everyone, and you said something
Yeah,
about
I
wanting
think
to do
I
nutrition
planted
stuff.
a seed.
And, I
Nice.
And
was
just let it
like,
go.
Hey, what's up?
All right.
Yeah.
So,
What is it?
so it's a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be online. It's an hour on Zoom, and we're going to. Well, what's your mentality part going to be?
Well, it's called
first? 'Cause-
Finding Food Freedom. And we're really trying to help. I don't think we made it just female. So it's like, but it's maybe towards them a little bit more just
Yeah.
because it's.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. The restriction part of it tends to be a more female focused problem.
What? Yeah.
No.
I think that's just the problem in the.
Well, I
in
made
the,
a post about this the other day.
in the diet, like
Yeah.
call it the diet industry, but anyone that keeps their eyes in on the diet industry, which would be males and females,
Yeah.
I think it's one of the biggest problems. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like
correct.
Yeah.
the premise is the same. It's just like more's bad, less has always been better. Avoiding, having less of this, less of this, less of that, because this thing causes that problem. This thing causes that problem.
Yeah.
Like, it's only really when you think about it, maybe the last 5 to 10 years, if you immersed yourself in like proper diet research, that you would probably come out the other side going, it's not carbohydrates, it's not fats, because like from the 60s, the government's just been like, well, how do we try and like stop people from getting fat? Oh, let's just bastardize stuff. So it's always been like avoid and less of everything.
Yeah.
But it hasn't solved the problem.
No.
So all it's done is created a bigger problem now, which is people don't actually know what the fuck to do anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, think about it. If you sat down and knew nothing about nutrition and you were unhappy with how you look and felt and performed even, how do you get that information that doesn't contradict something else?
And there's so much of it too.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like
It's literally impossible.
everyone has a microphone, everyone has a spotlight on them now, and you have 50 to 60 years of, if you don't look in the right place, conflicting information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some people are going to say eat carbs, then you're going to go, you're going to be able to find,
Yeah.
I reckon, 10 times the amount of information to tell you not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that one piece that says do it.
Yeah.
Right. And the average person doesn't understand like where to get the information that is valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's way more voices saying less and avoid than there is saying do and consume.
And
Yeah.
it's like, because like if you're doing it for like a population control thing, sorry, not population control.
I get it.
Human
Population management.
management for like weight loss and stuff. It's like, that's where those bits of
Absolutely.
advice come from, right?
Yeah, it's
but
like,
people
how
don't
are these
understand
people
that you're
so
an
fat?
individual.
Eat less.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, all these people eating Fruit Loops have habits of, I got Fruit Loops last
was like,
night. They're actually really good.
Yeah.
That was like a cinnamon donut flavour.
Oh, I've had it. It's a
I
lot.
I saw.
fucking unreal.
Oh, you like them, huh?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Oh, like I think the normal Fruit Loops are better.
Yeah, fair
Good
call.
for a change.
Yeah, that's it. It's a mix up.
Yeah, but they were like, they weren't colourful, so I was like, these are whole grains.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't a party.
These are healthy.
It's not fun. Fun.
Yeah, I'm like, this
fun's
is a
the word of
serious
2024
food.
for me. I'm like, it's not fun.
Yeah. Cinnamon donut cereal, not fun.
Not fun enough.
There needs to be some colour in
This
here.
is way too
Yeah,
serious.
it looks sad.
Yeah, it's so beige, but tasty. But yeah, like, so people just take, and it's like, you cannot blame anyone for taking government advice and being like, this applies to me.
Yeah.
So I need to avoid like all sugars and stuff like that. Or like, I think I did Muay Thai since I was maybe like 19, and that was my like intro to fitness. Like, I didn't do sport growing, like what we're talking about. I didn't do sport growing up. Like, I wasn't a fit person. I didn't lift. I didn't really care about all that stuff. I just did the sport. And so I sort of became interested in eating for sport, but it was like, a boiled egg is what I'll have before training, because I'm like, is that protein? Like, I knew fucking nothing. I was health conscious. I used to like try and eat healthy, and I cooked a lot, but like, my actual knowledge around nutrition was so limited until I actually studied it.
Yeah.
And so now I forget what people know before they've studied it. And sometimes I think I don't want to be condescending and give people too simple like information, but it's like, I didn't fucking know like what was in an egg like 3 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
So
They also forget,
Yeah.
like, real quick.
they're not doing it every day. So like,
Yes, it's not embedded into their minds. It's like, oh, this is protein. Like, they get confused. They still fall into bad, like, old habits too. It doesn't matter. Like, you guys could be implementing all of these really positive things validated by evidence, and it's not long enough of a message, and then they just go, they just fall back to old habits for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then they're back in that circle again.
and they have their whole other life to live as well. Like,
Absolutely.
their life is not nutrition. Like,
And
they
then
have a
like,
job.
there's people that they might have a family, and then it's like, okay, well, if I'm making all of these decisions for me, how does that affect
Yeah.
3 or 4 other people that rely on me? Like, I've had people literally like, I can't eat this way.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
'Cause
mean?
my kids
and
don't like
and
it.
they're like,
Yeah.
because my family won't eat this way. And I'm like, maybe they should.
Yeah.
Like, have you thought about
Yeah.
a way of making this work for everyone?
everyone.
Yeah, like just eating like even just like adhering to the healthy eating guidelines. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like even if you just take the water and the plants and the fruit as like the only things you take out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, try and get your 5 serves of veg and
Yep.
2 serves of But they're just like, no, they just won't do it.
Yeah.
Like the pyramid or the healthy eating pyramid,
Yeah.
or it's the plate now or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
that's,
they've changed it up.
It's still just the same advice that we were given in primary school, but everyone then got so confused with all the like, no, don't eat this, don't eat that, like all that kind of stuff. So everyone's like, then there's like conspiracies that the food pyramid was made by Kellogg's so that everyone would eat more cereal, or like they were like they funded it or something.
Well, you can put your tinfoil hat on for that, like, because there's whispers that they had to do it to improve, like to feed the country, to feed the like a race of people, right? And they had all this food left over from like the World War, 'cause everything was preserved, and etc. And then they were like, all right, well, let's create a model that we can, efficiently feed a population of 350 million people.
Yeah.
So it's easier to do that with, food that lives on the shelf. But either way, but like that's what we're saying is exactly why it's so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Because we're hearing like these wives' tales or these conspiracies, and you put DVDs on and or fucking watch Netflix, and it's like veggies are bad, fucking protein's bad. It's like fat's bad, carbs bad. What the fuck do you eat?
Yeah, I think that's
what are you supposed to eat? Quick break in the episode, guys. If you're looking for more information on how you can look, feel, and perform better, head over to our website. Take advantage of all of the content that we have there, even the YouTube channels, plenty of videos and stuff on there. Also, rotating free resources that you guys can access completely free. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, like largely what we're trying to do with the workshop, or like half of it anyway, is to like help make this information a lot more simple.
Awesome.
Like take out a lot of the, like this will be Annie's part of it, take out a lot of the confusion and stuff, so that it is really actionable as well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then I guess from like you touched on before, like falling back into old habits and stuff like that, because I know how important that is when trying to make any sort of change. Getting into, why people do the same things all the same, like at the same time. But then also like trying to get them to self-reflect on why they're stuck in this, because we're really aiming at people who are like stuck in a restrictive mindset.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I'm really afraid of gaining weight. I'm constantly trying to eat lower calories. The thought of eating more, scares me, like all those sorts of things. I'm attached to the number on the scale. And I definitely wanted to come across from a place of I understand.
Absolutely.
Because I've been there. I still sometimes am there.
Yeah.
Where I have attached a lot of my self-worth to like my levels of body fat and like being lean and, not feeling attractive growing up, and then getting lean and everyone being like, you look amazing. And I was like, oh my God, people love me like this.
Yeah.
So I have to hold on to this.
Yeah.
So making people feel understood as well, as to, again, like we touched on before, you're not alone in this feeling, but it doesn't have to always be this way.
Yeah.
Because I think people, like, once they have been in a certain cycle of thinking and that kind of thing for a while, they feel like they're always going to have these thoughts and that things can't get better for them. But also I think a big thing that we wanted to focus on was helping them feel better about like the fear of gaining weight. Because I know that I think about like if someone was speaking to me, say like even 2-3 years ago, about like the importance of eating more or not feeling, not constantly trying to, live at 12, 15, even 1800 calories, that kind of thing. My internal narrative would be like, I don't care. I'd rather be lean. Like, I just don't care. You can tell me like I'm going to have more energy and blah, blah,
it's
blah.
like affects my bone density. It affects my hormone
I don't
function,
care.
blah,
I'm
blah.
shredded.
It's like it overrides everything because of all the past experiences that you have of that feeling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was willing to give it all up to stay that way. And so I think a point that we wanted to make was like, you don't have to give up your physique goals in order to do this.
Yeah, like it's okay to still want to love the way that you look.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like, just put on weight.
Yeah,
who
like
cares
it's fine.
If you get
Yeah,
fat?
eat whatever the fuck
that
you want.
toxic
Yeah.
positivity of like whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
Like we want you to be healthy and strong, and we want you to love how you look. And like it's, I think like having a physique goal in the past few years has almost been like, demonized. Like people think it's like
I'm
shallow or
very
it's vain.
out
it's
and
vain.
open about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I train to look hot. I eat to look hot. like obviously into feel good and all of that stuff as
and
well.
all that shit.
Yeah.
But like,
But I just want to be really open and honest
Realistically,
about
yeah.
that, because I know that that actually helps me to connect with food restriction clients.
yeah,
Because they're
Absolutely.
like, okay, cool, she's not going to let me get fat.
yeah. It's like
Which sounds
fucking
like, but I know that from a client's point of view,
don't
I
wanna get
would
fat,
want,
yeah.
if I was going to trust a coach with this,
Mm.
that would be my number one fear.
Mm.
And so like when I do food journals and stuff with clients and I'm like, you're not tracking, I was like, but I'm looking. So don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
and they feel like, okay, cool. And they can relax
Yeah.
for a little bit.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I'm not going to let this happen.
yeah,
And not that like, you know, people will probably get mad or whatever because it's like, you know, body fat's not, I'm not saying that, you know, like gaining weight isn't something to fear, all of that kind of shit. But I know that people resist letting go of this restrictive mindset because they're so afraid of not looking good anymore. And I just want people to know you can have both.
yeah, and that's
Absolutely.
why it's like the mentality side of it is so important, because it's like they need to understand why they're restricting and why looking that way is more important to them than their health, kind of thing, you know, like breaking that down. And then also just being able to show them like, you can look really good and you'll probably look a lot better if you do eat a lot more, because you'll have more muscle. You want that
Yeah.
toned look, right? Like,
Yeah.
but you have to eat more to get more muscle. Like, so it's like, here's the science and here's how to actually get there and here's the thing. And also it's like, but why do you attach so much to it at the same time, kind of? I guess that's kind of what the workshop is for, to like break those things down and be like, here's a bit of a blueprint like out of that.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
you can actually like have both, like feel good about it and still look really hot and love the way that you look, kind of thing. you know?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
we're
the
not gonna
second
take that from
point's
you.
like important too, because, you know, even if you do get down to X number of body fat, it's like you're not promised that pot of gold that you're going to feel amazing about yourself. You'll probably get
Exactly.
like, you don't automatically feel body confident.
Yep.
And so it's like, if you speak to anyone, if you dig under it, it's like, surely that's the goal, right? Because it's like, you, even if you look a certain way, if you still don't feel confident, it's like, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, that's trying to reframe what we're actually working towards, which is feeling confident in your body,
Yeah.
not just having a body that looks a certain way. Because
Yeah.
it's like, if you're still having terrible thoughts about your body and you are tiny, it's like, well, we haven't achieved anything
Yeah,
yet.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's trying to understand like those thoughts, telling them that they have the power to control those thoughts as well, not from like a just tell your body that you love it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, doing all of the other things as well, where it's like the what you're doing is driven from a place of wanting to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And people feel better about themselves and in their bodies, not just internally and in their thoughts and stuff, once they can kind of like almost see the matrix, like get out of it. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's very hard to have positive thoughts, which I don't think people realize, with no energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah. Like,
It's
you can't
dark.
make those hormones.
no.
Like, yeah.
And that's another, I mean, I could talk on this all day like we're doing a workshop, but
Yeah.
stuff like that where people don't think about it. It's like,
Yeah.
you've got no energy to have new thoughts, because creating new thoughts takes energy.
lot of
You can't
energy,
do it
yeah.
on 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Even having like the ability to like look a little further down the road, like I
Yeah.
find with the typical person that experiences all of that stuff, they're just living like meal to meal,
Yeah.
like day to day. It's like there's no thought long term about like having a consideration for health and vitality, and dare I say it, like trying to improve their physique if they did want to put on their like some muscle mass and stuff. Like it's always like, I just need to eat as less as I can, and I just need to withstand whatever comes my way as a result of that. And then most of the time that is so overbearing that they fall off the wagon, you know, behaviors, you know, start coming in or whatever, that they can't resist and start to act and eat in a way that's not conducive to their goals. They start feeling a certain way, and it starts creating this like really big ball of just shit. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like a shit ball. Like really, when you think about it, it's like
Yeah.
it poor, like, because they're like, they start feeling worse about themselves because they're not doing the things that they
Exactly.
said they were going to do.
Yeah.
And then they look at themselves in the mirror, and then they're like, well, I'm not as shredded as I said I was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, not only are we doing, like, we feel shit, we're thinking shit, and then we're not making any progress.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of these things everybody experiences at some point.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit of education. Like, we can't sell it that it's just
No.
mindset stuff. It's like to have the mindset to rationale the behavior, the action, the plan, you need the education.
Correct.
Yeah. But you also need to care about it enough to then like accept the new information.
So then you need to take that information and then have that talk with yourself and have those skills and exercises and things that you guys do to make sure that you can apply it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, half the reason not even half the reason, one of the reasons that I'm so excited to work with Annie is because of that, because you do need both. Because a lot of the restriction, well, most of it is fear-based. Fear, like they fear themselves mostly in terms of like, I don't trust myself to be around food because they just don't think that they'll be able to stop. But a lot of it is like, which I didn't realize until working with one-on-one clients. It's the same kind of thing where you're like, you know, I know so much about it now that I forget, you know, what other people are struggling with.
Yeah.
And a message that came through a lot was like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean right and wrong? And this is so common where it's like, I had a client and I was like, just add some like beef mince or something to your lunch. She's like, oh, but I'm having steak for dinner. Can I have red meat twice in one day? So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
She was like, oh, someone told me one day I couldn't.
You can't have more than two eggs. You can't eat chicken twice. It's
so stuff like that where it's like you can just be like, hey, it's cool, and they're like, oh, I can breathe.
Yeah, and that's again a manifestation of bullshit diet culture.
It's crazy.
Yeah, just decades of
now you can,
wrong information.
not only back then it was like, you know, Women's Day and people gossiping at the hairdressers. Now you just open your phone. And you're just bombarded with like not only articles, but Joe Blow on the internet who knows nothing about nutrition saying like, oh, you should just eat meat.
Yeah.
And you should just eat this, you know? Like,
It's like, I think one of the things
that
I want to like focus the education bit on a little bit, and like I have to make it fun and not dry. But the one thing that I really think that if people understood a bit better, their life would be so much better. And just kind of that hierarchy of like information, you know what I mean?
In nutrition.
Or just to understand that like
the fundamentals of nutrition application.
Yeah, but like to understand that like, you know, what an anecdote is. And then to differentiate what an anecdote is from an actual clinical study, and then to understand, like, not to fully take them through the scientific process, but just to be like, just because one person said that something worked for them, that doesn't make that good information. Like, so you need to be able to differentiate that. Once
and it doesn't dispel like the foundations of nutrition. Like if someone sits there and says, "Oh, this person, fucking avoided carbohydrates and lost weight or whatever, so I'm going to do that." It's like, if you understand that if you just restrict the food intake altogether,
like that's a sample size of one.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean?
Or
it's
if you
like
watch
if they understand that, then
you watch fucking Game Changers and it's like, oh, I'm going to go and just eat vegetables now.
I think we've lost the ability to critically think.
Exactly, right? And so that's what I mean. I really want to have that as an element of like what we're teaching in the workshop, of just being like, this is bullshit, but not just like, you know, like diet by diet by diet, that's shit, that's good. It's like, this is how you systematically can understand for yourself what's bullshit and what's not.
Sorry, go.
No, you go.
Whenever someone like tells me something, my first question is always like, why and how?
Yeah.
And they're all like, oh, I don't know. But I'm like, start asking these questions. This will, you know, make this happen. I'm like, how's that work? And they just don't care how it works. I'm like, you've just done it because you read it somewhere. You don't even know where you read it from. It's like, start asking more questions and not just believing everything that you see. Like, if I'm ever working with someone or even on Instagram or whatever, and if someone's like, oh, why do you say that, or how, blah, 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 I'm like, let's go. I love answering questions. But it's like, you want people to start asking them for themselves. And it's like, pretty much all of life is trial and error.
Yeah.
And I think people just get so stuck in these rules where it's like, I say to the food clients and stuff, I'm like, we'll do it for a bit. If you feel better, we'll keep doing it. Like, just like you're not locked into this. It's not that fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like it or it doesn't work or you don't feel that great, then we'll change the plan.
Yeah.
Because there's probably 20 plans that are good.
Yeah.
Like, there's not one golden plan.
How many people are on the planet? Like 8 billion?
Yeah.
There's probably 8 billion plans.
Yeah.
Good, you know?
Like, they started eating meat and they felt better. It's like, no, well, they probably just took out all the shit that was making them feel like crap. Like, it's not the meat that fixed them. Sorry, I won't get into carnivore, but you
that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's just not, it doesn't have to be that rule based.
Yeah.
It's like, be willing to try things and trust your own reaction or like intuition. It's like, does it make you feel good? Start trusting that. And stop
Yeah.
like looking
does
to
it
the
make
internet.
you feel good?
Yeah.
Because I think like it's like the emotion-based thinking, which men and women do, but I think that's what, you combine like emotion-based thinking with like anecdotal info, that's all we have on Instagram and shit, right? It's anecdotes and it's like tactically using emotion to like connect with people. So it's like they're like, oh, I really relate to this person and because it's designed for you to relate to them. And so they did this diet and it fixed everything for them. So they're like, sold, that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
so
it.
yeah, it's like I think that the most important tool to give the people in the workshop isn't necessarily like, oh, have this many grams of protein and this and this and this. It's
do
like
this
this is how to
plan.
think.
Yeah.
This is how to this is how to like decide what's bullshit and not
or
based
even just
on-
what avenue you want to take.
Yeah.
Because like I've got a nutritional presentation that has like I think about 15 different types of diets on it, and we just go through the pros and cons of them.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at it, there's application for everyone because
Yeah.
it has a pros
Correct.
has a
Yes.
pros con like section.
Yeah.
And then the cons is like it's hard to stick to for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money to be
Yeah.
on a high protein diet.
Yeah.
It's hard to eat. There's so many different ways to eat. If we understood a little bit of like, I wonder how this would work for me, and would it actually? Because you got to be like willing and able. Everything you do, you have to be willing and able. A lot of people are willing, but they're not able.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that able part, and that's where they start to do the I'm willing to starve the fuck out of my body.
Yeah.
True.
But it's like, are you really able? And then the other one is, should you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are going to give them the ability to ask themselves when it comes to nutrition. It's like, should I do this? Am I willing to? Do I have the ability? And if I don't, or like if it's yes for all of them, let's do it. And if I don't, what's the best thing for me after that?
Yeah.
Rather than forcing myself into a situation that I shouldn't have, and then just going through this like toxic fucking cycle of food restriction and mental, anguish that most people are putting themselves through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like,
That's
why
the
do you
plan.
want to do it? Because I think like even on like dieting or fat loss and that kind of thing, I always try and make it come across as well that like I'm never going to say like diet culture is bad. Like I'll put myself through many more diets, I assume.
Yeah.
But it's like, why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Like, are you doing it because you just want like a bit of a challenge, or you got a photo shoot coming up and you want some structure, blah, blah, blah. It's like, cool. That's from like a self-care kind of place. It's like if you're doing it because it's like you have no self-worth and you're trying to get leaner because you think that's what will happen. It's like starting to ask the question of like, why do you want to do something? And being honest as well. Like
Absolutely.
making sure that you've kind of like touched on that before entering any sort of like restrictive phase.
I think I used to diet because the diets existed. Like do you guys remember like the I Quit Sugar books?
I watched the
Yeah,
I watched
sort
the
of.
movie. I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
I think
don't know.
there's a
They had,
movie
like, a
about a
whole
guy
thing.
that like
Oh,
just doesn't have sugar for like a
It was
fucking
this other lady.
yeah. But anyway,
But it was
I know
cookbooks and
no I know.
And it was like-
yeah.
This exists, so I'm gonna try it. Just 'cause
Yeah.
it's like people do diets. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do this diet.
Yeah, it's the line out the front of the store. You're like, what's
Yeah.
that place? I'm gonna do it. I'm
Exactly.
gonna line
It's
up and
just
go in.
like-
Yeah.
I just and at that point it wasn't like physique based. It was just like maybe health.
Yeah.
It exists. I'm a girl. I don't know. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Other
it
people like
fucked
me
my
doing
mentality
it.
for
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So scared of sugar for so many years, and now I'm like,
Now all of it
And
is
Fruit
Fruit Loops. So glad we came to at the other side.
So, finer details of the workshop. When is it? I know you guys mentioned earlier about like just for the people listening. So, where do they go and get tickets? Like, how do they get involved?
Yeah, so it's on the 30th of Jan. Is that Tuesday night? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually don't
30th
know.
of Jan. It's at 7 p.m. Melbourne time. Anyone who is north, it will be 6. It's online. You can go to either of our Instagram pages. We can put like tags and stuff in the notes. Yeah, Tam.
We'll do link in bio too.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So either of our pages, but then also link in bio on the STC page.
That's right.
Yeah.
Link in bio for all of the good stuff. All right, ladies, we might wrap it up there. We have another podcast to film, which I
Can't
think
wait.
we won't be short of conversation. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, hit the subscribe button. Support the mission. We always like the shares and the comments, and let us know what you think. And if you have any troubles finding the tickets, obviously find us in the DMs and we'll send you in the right direction. All right. Thanks, ladies. That was awesome.
Thank you.